Okay, welcome to Project Sting. We're Project Sting. We're going to be taking you through our presentation. And 3 simple concepts we want to get across to you. The first concept is we have invented a new kind of syringe that cuts out a very frequent process that's carried out in hospitals. Our research has shown we can save up to 4 hours per ward, per hospital of nursing time. Concept 1. The second concept is our simple licensing model. Because of the way that this can be manufactured, there is actually going to be no added cost. So our licensing model is very simple. And because it's simple, we can actually base it on a percentage. So we will take you through that. And the third concept is a positive market feedback we've had. We've had positive market feedback, research, and this is a positive business case. I will take you through the first parts of the concept, explain the medical application, and talk about the market size. My colleague Robin will take you through the rest of the concept, the simple licensing model, and take you through the rest of the market feedback. Our team has an ideator who has developed an initial concept that won an award with the RCA. Our additional member to the team is someone called Shun from the engineering group. We have 2 doctors, Robin and myself, who work not only as GPs but other areas in the health industry. We have our numbers guru, Tom, and our design guru, Stefan, and our pharmacy guru who works in a busy London hospital, Rena. Together, we've actually formed a journey. We won't go into it, but we had a different concept at the beginning that was going to save the world. But what we have found is actually there is a gap in the market where we can save millions of pounds. This is the important part because I want to explain the process that we're aiming to cut out. People are in hospitals because of a number of areas. The vast majority of the people on wards are there because of 2 real reasons. One, because they need constant observation, blood pressures and other monitoring. Second, because they need intravenous medication. They can't go home with an intravenous medication, so they have to have it in hospital. Whenever you give someone intravenous medication, you have to clean it first, give the medication and clean it again. This is called flushing. You flush with a special compound that matches your blood. It's a right concentration of salt water. It's called saline. Our concept is to replace an existing process that takes 2 minutes that you have to do twice every time you flush something. Just give you an idea. If you have antibiotics 4 times a day, you will have to have 8 flushes a day. Just 1 patient, 1 bed in 1 ward. We aim to cut that process down. This is how it works. You start off with a syringe, a needle, and this is what we call the saline vial. You take off the packaging and you insert the needle, after you put it on the end of the syringe, into the saline vial. This is important because there is a large risk associated with this. You're sticking a needle somewhere near your hand. Thousands of what we call needle stick injuries occur every year as a result of this. You draw up the saline into the syringe, you dispose of the needle, and all of this rubbish and waste has resulted just in being able to have that. A syringe with salt water in it for flushing before and after intravenous medication. And this is the process. You just plunge it down before and after intravenous medication. Our research has shown that this process takes 2 minutes because you have to draw up the fluid into the syringe. It produces lots of waste. And our market data has shown that actually hospitals pay for £700 per tonne of waste. What we have developed replaces that process. Our concept essentially has these 2 things in one. I just want to show you this saline vial for a second. If you see, this is a saline vial. there is little differentiation in these vials. So it's more like a commodity. And actually, across the UK, 138 of these vials are consumed annually. Where we have positioned our product, and I will take you through how we aim to manufacture it, it will cost the same amount as this. If you think how a manufacturer can differentiate their product in the market, either by cost or by product differentiation, quality or other features, we're saying our product matches the current costs. So it's our added value that our business case and our licensing will be selling. Cost neutral for the company. This is a blow-fill-seal technique. It matches exactly how the vials are already made. All that needs to be done is to change this molding. We have researched and have estimates for the cost of changing this molding. It is £100,000. That's one cost. It is very simple to make this, and it is filled with the sterile salt water for the flushing before and after the intravenous medication. This is our process now. Very much slicker, very much quicker. You take the packaging off, snap the top, pop the connection on, plunge it, dispose of it. Very simple, little waste, and it's a lot quicker. Now, the next part of it, having talked about the medical concept of this and clarified exactly what we're offering and our value, we're going to be talking about the market. What I'll talk about in the following slide is the costs, but essentially the needle and syringe, the process I just showed, is actually more expensive than our product. And in terms of cost, there are two other players on the market who have saline-filled syringes. They have other values in terms of they maintain a constant pressure. They're very expensive and very niche. Our product will be interchangeable with the existing saline vials, and it will have more value than the current needle and syringe because of the reduction in waste and the reduction in time. And here are some of the numbers. We know that you flush before and after administering intravenous medication. So that's why our concept has two. The current syringes on the market, the pre-filled ones, cost in the region, Baxter and BD, cost in the region of 56 pence. The current method that I demonstrated to you in terms of the needle, syringe, and drawing it up costs about 30 pence. Our product will cost 6 pence. The same cost as the vials already on the market. So in terms of the saving, if you consider it like for like, the whole process, we're saving up to 70% of the costs. Having calculated the average nurse's annual income, the 4 hour they will save per ward, per hospital, we're demonstrating a labour cost of £21,000 per year, per ward in the United Kingdom. So to clarify, the positioning and pricing is in line with the saline vials. We're looking to essentially for saline vial manufacturers to take the license that we're giving them, change their molding, and it's like for like, and what they get is an additional added value. For them, that means they can give it to all of their existing clients without additional sales, distribution costs. But it's the market share growth that we're going to be talking about the rest of the presentation. So the licensing they're paying, the two costs, the licensing costs and the cost of changing of the molding, isn't going to increase their price because that would require additional costs, sales and marketing. We're looking for them to grow their market share because for the same cost, they can actually differentiate their product on quality and value rather than cost. From our bottom-up research, we know that the size of the UK saline vial market is 138 million per year. We've extrapolated that data using other forms of data that we have here, and we can say in the region of 2 billion across the Western Europe. They all have to use this two-flush process. You flush before, you give the intravenous medication, and you flush afterwards. We know that 33% of the saline vials sold in the UK are used for flushing. This is important because to ask for more money for a flush that you can interchange would be only for 33% of the time. The other two large players on the market who sell these two pre-filled saline syringes have a very tiny proportion of the market, less than 1%. And in fact, this one only has one hospital it supplies to. They're very niche because of the amount of pressure that they can sustain. They actually go gradually, and therefore intravenous injections into the heart, not what we're talking about. Very tiny proportion of the market. If we were to have a higher price for our product and say it's only interchangeable for flushing, we would be looking at 33% of the market. What we're saying is because it's costs less in terms of the pricing, we can actually interchange it for 100% of the market. So an existing saline vial producer can give it out, the same price, charge the same price, and grow their market share because of a differentiated product value. I'll now hand you over to Robin, who will take you through some more of the finer details of both the licensing and the numbers, and take you through the positive, lots of positive market feedback we've got. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much. So this is where it got exciting. This is where we'd realised that there was a big opportunity here, and we were talking to people and they were understanding what we were saying. So we drew some sketches, we went out into the garage and got the lathe out, we actually went and got these things manufactured, and what that allowed us to do was to go around to hospitals, to go and speak to people that worked in the ambulance service, to go and speak to matrons, to doctors, and they could actually handle this product. And as soon as we explained the idea to them with something tangible in their hand, they really got what the idea was about, and a lot of them got very, very excited about what this would mean for them and their daily role and how their job could potentially change. So these are some of the sorts of quotes and feedback we were getting. Lots of people thought it was an excellent idea. There were those moments of, why hasn't someone thought of this before? They realised that the time saving was important, that it would be useful, helpful, that you can do everything in one go, that it would save them hassle. This person, a foul-mouthed nurse from accident and emergency, thought it was the best thing that had ever happened to her. Importantly, there was a comment that we took on board, which was a GP colleague who said, well, actually, do we need to stock two types of saline? Yours, in the Sting design, and the existing saline vials. And I'll explain now why that isn't the case. And so this was our sort of further iterations of the design, having taken in that user feedback. So with our Sting design, it's actually dual purpose, as Johanna has explained. So not only is it the ready-to-use saline flush, so can be interchanged with some of those pre-filled saline syringes, but actually by this manufactured weakness around the base here, around the base of the tip, that will allow us to snap the tip, and this area will open up a little bit like a ring pull on a can. So if users still wish to extract the saline from the Sting device with a traditional needle and syringe, as they have been doing, then they still can. So it allows them to carry on practicing as they are if they wish to do that. So our competitive advantage with this particular design, it means that end users, there's no additional cost for them, that there's nothing that they have to really change about how they do their job. So it should be an easy decision for them to actually start using this item. Because of the universal connector that we have on the end, and this is what's called a Lure slip tip. So that's a standard tip that's found on existing syringes, and that fits on the universal ports that is on other medical devices. So that means that what we have is universal. It will fit with everything else that's already on the market. And as we said, it's faster and cheaper than what's being done at the moment, the needle and syringe method. So where do we fit in the value chain? What we've come up with is the design that we've tested and refined. So we're sitting at the very top of the value chain. We can go out and we can show people the design and we can refine it and we can make small amendments. But what we don't really have is the rest of the skills and abilities and contacts to get this product right the way through to the market and to generate all of the sales and the distribution channels. That's what we're lacking. So that's where we're sitting, right at the first part of the value chain. So really our way of taking this forward is through a licensing deal. So from our perspective, what we intend to do is to get protection over the idea. So design rights or patenting of the design so that we are able then to license that on. And our intention is to license this design to the saline vial manufacturers for the reasons discussed, because they're in what is largely a commoditized market and their product is essentially the same as everybody else's. What we will let the saline vial manufacturers do is take it through the process of getting regulatory approval. And again, that's because they're in the best position to do that. They're likely to have done this many times before, and they have the experience in that area, whereas we do not. So this is what we will do. We will protect the design. The licensee will then pay for the license from us. They will foot the bill for the tooling cost, which is going to be around £100,000 for developing that mould. The licensee will distribute it down their existing distribution channels to their existing customers. So their existing customers don't even need to do anything. All that happens one day is that rather than getting standard, boring, generic saline vials, they suddenly get excellent value-added Sting vials instead. In terms of the benefits they get, we've calculated the break-even for the licensee as them only needing to increase their UK market share of the saline vial market by approximately 2.5% per year. Now, if you consider that overall the population is aging, they're spending more time in hospital, there's polypharmacy, so more drugs are being given, the market share for saline vials is naturally increasing anyhow. So that makes the attainment of this 2.5% increase of market share even more likely for them. So, as we say, the saline vial market, it's commoditized. We are anticipating that the licensee would license this purely for the purpose of increasing their market share, for the purposes of product differentiation. And these are some of the examples of the companies already in that market space that we would intend to go to and start having this dialogue with. So, these are the figures. Tooling, as we say, £100,000. What we are offering is a licensing deal for £250,000, which will allow them to use this for 5 years. Breaking this down, on current margins of approximately 2p per vial, that means that for this cost, they only need to increase their sales by 17.5 million units over a period of 5 years. And that's how we've broken it down to say, actually, for the UK market, that's equivalent to increasing the market share by 2.5%. If we licensed Sting and the design to an international player, someone either in Europe or the American market, as you can see, the amount of market share growth that they would need through licensing our design is actually smaller again. Just in terms of milestones, this is really how we think things will shape up. So, 1 minute, okay. So, really, we're involved in the darker sections. So, incorporating the venture, finding a licensee, and taking the fees. The orange areas are really where the licensee will take over. So they will be more involved in the final development and refining and finalising the moulding and taking that to market. So this is what we're offering. A 5-year exclusive worldwide deal for a cost of £250,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you.